In a small village called Nkonko, there lived a very beautiful young lady named Amarachi. She was so pretty that whenever she passed by, men would stop and stare at her beauty. Amarachi lived alone in a small house at the edge of the village, and many people wondered about her because she don't seem to have a job. Yet, she always dressed in the finest clothes and had plenty of money. What people don't know was that Amarachi was deeply involved in something dark and dangerous. Amarachi was into hookup. She would go out with married men, pretending to love them, but her intentions were far from pure. Whenever a man slept with her, he wouldn't know that he was actually sleeping with a snake. Amarachi had a connection to the marine world, a place filled with spirits and serpents, and she could transform into a snake whenever she went there. She always spoke to the serpent spirit in her room when she was alone. Amarachi only targeted married men. She hated the idea of destroying families, but the serpent spirit in her heart told her she had no choice. Bring married men to us. Make them broke. Make them suffer for betraying their wives. The spirit would whisper in her mind. Each time a man fell into her trap, his life would change forever. He would lose his money, his business, and his happiness. His wife and children would suffer because of his unfaithfulness. Amarachi knew this, but she couldn't stop. The serpent spirit controlled her. One day, Amarachi met a man named Chukwudi. He was a wealthy businessman but a careless husband. Chukwudi never cared about his wife, Adaobi, or their 3 children. He don't buy food for the house, don't pay school fees, and spent all his time outside drinking and partying. When Chukwudi saw Amarachi, he was smitten. Her beauty was like nothing he had ever seen before. He approached her with sweet words, and Amarachi smiled. She already knew he was married, and the serpent spirit inside her was excited. This one would be easy, she thought to herself. Chukwudi started spending all his money on Amarachi. He bought her expensive gifts, took her to the city for outings, and even neglected his business because of her. His wife, Adaobi, cried every night, but Chukwudi don't care. One evening, Amarachi was in her room sitting on her bed. The room was dark with just one candle burning in the corner. She called her softly, "Serpent, come to me." Suddenly, a large snake slithered out from the shadows. Its eyes glowed red, and it hissed as it looked at her. Amarachi knelt down and whispered, "This man Chukwudi, but I want you to listen to me carefully. Do not make him broke." The serpent's voice was deep and angry.
You dare to ask me this? Do you forget the covenant you made? Every married man you bring to us must suffer. Chukwudi will not be spared.
It hissed. Amarachi's heart raised. The serpent's glowing eyes looked angrier than ever. "No," she shouted. "Not this one. I don't know why, but I don't want him to go broke. Just punish him lightly, please." The serpent caught his body tightly and hissed louder. The spirit has spoken. You serve us, and you cannot choose who suffers or who does not. If you try to disobey, you too will face the punishment. Amarachi was terrified. She bowed her head and whispered, "I am sorry, I will obey." That night, Amarachi had to visit the marine world. She transformed into a serpent and slid into the river. Deep under the water, she entered the serpent's kingdom. It was a strange place, filled with glowing light and beautiful palaces. Other serpents slid around, their voices echoing like whispering in the water. The queen serpent called Amarachi and warned her, "You are forgetting your purpose. Remember, you are here to punish, not to protect. Do not let human feelings make you weak, or you will pay the price." Amarachi nodded, but her heart was heavy. She don't know why she felt different about Chukwudi. Meanwhile, Chukwudi had completely fallen in love with Amarachi. He spent every night with her, showering her with money and gifts. His wife and children cried at home, hungry and abandoned. Amarachi, however, began to feel unease. She started to pity Chukwudi's family, especially his children. One evening, as she sat alone, she decided to talk to the serpent again. "I don't want to hurt this man anymore. Let him go, please," she said. The serpent appeared, angrier than before. He made his choice to leave his family for you. He will face the consequences. You cannot change what has already started. Back in the village, people started noticing that Chukwudi was going broke. His business was failing and he was borrowing money from friends. His wife, Adaobi, went to church and prayed day and night for her husband. One day, a new reverend father came to the community. His name was Father Emmanuel. He was a kind man, but he was also very powerful in prayer. When Adaobi told him about her husband's strange behavior, Father Emmanuel decided to visit Amarachi. When he entered her house, Amarachi felt something strange. She started sweating, and the serpent spirit inside her became restless. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I am a servant of God. I know who you are, Amarachi, and I know what you have been doing," Father Emmanuel said calmly. Amarachi fell to her knees and started crying. "I don't want this life," she confessed. "The serpent spirit controls me. Please help me." Father Emmanuel prayed for hours. He anointed Amarachi with oil and commanded the serpent spirit to leave her. The snake in her room appeared, hissing and fighting, but eventually disappeared. The villagers gathered. Amarachi confessed everything to the villagers. She told them how she had been using her beauty to trap married men, how she had destroyed families, and how the serpent spirit had controlled her life. Chukwudi, too, confessed his sins to his wife and begged for forgiveness. Adaobi forgave him, but she warned him never to make the same mistake again. The Reverend Father stood before the villagers and gave a strong warning.
"Men, be faithful to your wives. Stay away from strange women, no matter how beautiful they may be. When you break the trust of your family, you open the door to destruction."
The villagers nodded, and from that day, many men changed their ways. As for Amarachi, she never returned to her old life. Her story became a lesson for everyone in the village, a reminder that beauty can hinder danger and that staying faithful is the best protection against harm. The end. Thank you guys for watching my story, and please come back for more interesting story. I love you.